Your party unite after what has been such a toxic and embittered leadership campaign?
Well, of course it can, Dan. I mean, let's be honest now. I see this as a one door closing, another door opening. It's a fantastic opportunity now for our new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, who I've got every confidence in, to take us in a different direction to the direction we've been travelling for the past few years. Yes, she's been dealt a poor hand, and yes, the mainstream media, the left, the Guardian, the BBC, whoever will attack her at every opportunity. But I think she's a strong lady. She's going to be a strong leader. And I think if the Parliamentary Party get behind her, like I know we can do, then all I can see over the next 2 years is positive outcomes for this great country of ours. Look, it is a difficult time that we're in at the moment. Lots of people wanted to fail. I want to see her succeed. The people of Ashfield wanted to succeed, and the people of the UK wanted to succeed. So we must get behind her and get through these terrible times.
But Christopher Hope, you've got to admit, the vast majority of people at Westminster, the Blob, the establishment, certainly the BBC, which we'll come to shortly, they are willing Truss to fail. I've seen it constantly since the announcement at 12:30 today.
I think, Dan, you've got to break that into two things. I mean, when did Lee start voting for Liz Truss after backing Kevin Badenoch originally in the leadership campaign? A lot of MPs, only about a third of them voted for Liz Truss at all. And she only came through on the rails at the fifth time of voting. So even Tory MPs don't really want her to win. There are other people they think might be better. I wonder what made Lee decide to switch camps from Kevin Badenoch to Liz Truss.
Yeah. Well, let me come back there, Dan. I don't know if Christopher's aware that Kemi got knocked out, so I could only back who was on the ballot paper. So that's a little bit silly, Christopher. You know, I backed Kemi from the outset. Once she got knocked out, I don't know if you know how the ballot works, but you can only back somebody that's on the ballot paper. Maybe you need to come and speak to me in Parliament tomorrow. I can explain it to you, because obviously you're confused with how the system works. No, you're not teasing at all, mate. You're being facetious. So come and have a chat with me tomorrow on the screen, and we can sort it out.
Belinda DeLucy, let's sort this out now. Belinda, do you feel like the odds are stacked against Liz Truss?
Well, I'm not quite sure, because if the sort of usual suspects in the BBC and the like are anti-Liz Truss, that bodes really well for her. I think it's a good sign. My biggest fear would be that the BBC embraced her, or the usual suspects thought she was wonderful, but they don't. So that is a good sign. I see it as a strength, not a weakness.
I do too, actually. Now, Lee Anderson, I have to ask you about the BBC coverage over the weekend, because for me, this was a disgrace. It was completely indicative of what we're going to see from our public broadcaster. I feel, Lee, like they're emboldened by the fact that they helped bring down Boris Johnson, and they're planning to go even harder on Liz Truss. Am I wrong, Lee?
Well, look, I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures. And this Joe comedian chap that was on yesterday, I never knew he was a comedian, to be honest with you, Dan. I thought that when they said the comedian was on the show, I thought it was Emily Thorne. He's not funny at all.
There, definitely. I agree with that.
Well, he needs investigating. He needs investigating. Yeah. But it's typical BBC. They are the official opposition of this country at the moment. They will do anything. You know, they're wheeling out people like Lineker. They've got Emily Thornberry on there yesterday. I actually thought she was the comedian that was on the show yesterday. Look, don't take them seriously. You know, if we want to tackle this cost of living crisis, the first thing I would do is scrap the BBC licence and put 160 quid a year back in the hard-working people of this country. Put it back in their pocket. You know, Lineker's on 2 million quid. You've got other people earning £1 million a year. You've got biased news presenters of the corrupt BBC earning 200 or 300 grand a year. Absolute joke. I advise anybody that's watching this show tonight, rip your licence up and chuck it in the bin. And if they come knocking on your door, tell them to clear off.